The fantasy terrascape is 8 months old, and I'm going to cover a couple of interesting facts about it in this update video today. So stick around with me till the end. The terrarium was put together in the month of February this year. A Ficus pumila minima cutting was also added during a routine maintenance session in the month of June. That was one of the 2 maintenance sessions conducted during these 8 months, and the terrarium has been doing pretty well so far. The springtail colony has thinned out a bit, but very much active. The soil appears adequately moist, and there is no excess water in the drainage layer, which is a good thing. Roots have found their way into the drainage layer, which is proof that the root system of the plants have established well. Let us open the terrarium and wipe up the glass so that we can take a closer look. The driftwood hardscape has turned a few shades darker. This is a natural process and is an indication of the forces of nature at work, which will eventually lead to the disintegration and breakdown of the wood. White rot fungus can be seen growing on the wood, and although harmless, if allowed to grow fast, it will hasten the decay of the wood. White rot fungi has the ability to break down lignin, which is an organic substance naturally produced by woody plants for providing structural support. Lignin accounts for 30% of the organic carbon on Earth. Therefore, the white rot fungi is actually playing a critical role in the release of carbon for the plants in the ecosystem. I will, however, scrape off the fungi. I cannot eliminate it, but removing as much as I can will slow down the decaying of the wood. If I keep scraping off the fungi in this way regularly, the hardscape will last somewhat longer, maybe another year or 2. But eventually, it will rot and collapse, and the scape will be destroyed. This is one of the reasons why rocks and stones are better materials to work with if you want your scape to retain its integrity for a very long time. The Leucobrium glaucum or cushion moss is doing well now. There was a time in between when it looked a bit dull and dormant. However, it is showing new growth, and I can probably attribute its growth to the availability of more carbon inside the ecosystem due to the breakdown of the wood by fungi. The Bucephalandra pygmy has produced a lot of white leaves, almost like a variegation. They look really good and creates an interesting contrast within the scape. However, this can be a point of concern since the white leaves indicate a micronutrient deficiency, especially iron. In plants, iron is involved in the synthesis of chlorophyll, and it is essential for the maintenance of chloroplast structure and function. In its absence, plants will lose chlorophyll, leading to their inability to produce food. I haven't done much fertilizing in this terrarium till now, but I will need to start doing it more often if I have to save these Bucephalandra plants. The Anubias is a hardy plant, and it is doing well in this terrarium. There is some new leaf growth, albeit smaller in size, which is normal under the given conditions. Bolbitis deformis are aquatic plants that can grow well terrestrially too. Here they can be seen growing roots along the walls of the glass, using the condensation to keep themselves hydrated. New plant growth can also be observed on the tips of the leaves that are also letting down aerial roots reaching for the soil. There are a couple of leaves that has turned brown, and I will trim them off to reinstate a fresh look. I think the terrarium at this point needs some tiny foreground plants. This stump has been bothering me for a while now, and I need to cover it up. A Selaginella cutting placed in front of the stump will fix the issue. Another cutting placed on the opposite side will balance it off. I am also placing a couple of Selaginella erythropus cuttings in the foreground to add some color. I am actually placing the cuttings with the underside of the leaves facing outward for a stronger color pop. Let's see how it grows out in the longer run. I'm adding some dried bits of Indian almond leaves to add a bit more detail in the foreground. Time now to mist the terrarium and add a few sprits of the Dua liquid fertilizer to replenish lost nutrients. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this terrarium update video and the facts that came along with it. Thank you, and see you in the next one.